Welcome to A Web of Stories, and my name is Melinda, and I am back here in my sort of daughterless setup. She's home right now. She's supposed to be cleaning her room upstairs. I don't know if that's actually happening. But anyway, I had planned to do the like a Friday reads, but I've also been doing a vlog. So I've been thinking, I did a March reading vlog, which was also a vacation vlog. So I started doing an April vlog because I thought the March vlog turned out well. And we are at April 14th today, and so we're halfway through the month. And I was kind of thinking, like a month's worth of reading updates. Is that going to be something that I would want to watch if I was on the other side? And I thought, no, maybe not. But I probably would like to watch a week's worth. So thought about that a little bit. And so I've decided to kind of change things up a little bit. Instead of doing a Friday reads video where I sit down and I tell you what I'm reading, I'm going to start doing a weekly vlog. I'll have a little intro like I'm doing right now, and then probably like a little summation at the end. But then I'll just have the vlog. It won't be as long. Now, as for this video, I'm going to do 2 weeks in one just so we can kind of get on to it. And anyway, so I wanted to let you know that this is going to look a little different. This is how I'm probably going to be doing my reading updates from now on. So I'm going to leave this here, and I'm going to start the vlog. Also, going forward, I'm going to have a little more like this is what we're doing in our life kind of vlog things, and not just reading updates. So I will stop that. The vlog's going to start now. Once the vlog's over, I'm going to come back on and just kind of do a quick summation of what I am reading right now, and we'll call that good. And that will be my Friday reads. Again, this is going to cover 2 weeks, but going forward, it's going to be a week at a time. Hello, today is Monday, April 3rd. I'm getting back into real life. I'm getting back on vacation. We had a really smooth ride back home, and the kids are in school, and I got grocery shopping done today. I have a lot of laundry to do, but it's not laundry from our vacation. It's laundry that didn't get done beforehand. Anyway, I wanted to do my first video for my April vlog. I am editing the March vlog, which is also kind of a travel vlog, and it's going pretty well. So I think I'm going to continue doing this each month. So this is my first update for April, and it is a reading update. On the flight home, yesterday, I finished Forbidden Notebook by, I want to do my best here, Alba de Cespedes, who was a Cuban-Italian author. This book was originally published in 1952 in Italian. It was recently translated by Anne Goldstein, who translated the Elena Ferrante books, and it has a foreword by Jhumpa Lahiri. I honestly don't know where I saw this book, but I put a hold on it at the library and it appeared. And I thought, oh, this is only 288 pages. This shouldn't take very long. No, it's a dense 288 pages, but it's totally worth it. This book is so interesting. I wish it was a book club book, honestly. In fact, I may suggest it for my library book club next time we do suggestions. So it's set in like 1951 Rome. And it's a woman who she's 43 years old. She's married. She has 2 children still at home. The children, they call them. The children, by the way, are like 20 and 21. So she lives with her husband and her 2 children. And she buys a notebook. And she's really terrified that her family is going to find out that she's keeping a diary. And so she's always hiding this notebook. In fact, she wasn't even supposed to buy it. Apparently there was some law that you could only buy, she bought it where she bought her husband's cigarettes. And there was apparently some law that you could only buy cigarettes on Sunday. I don't know what was up with that. So she talks a lot about her life and what's going on. And she's kind of at a difficult place. Her family is interesting. So she does work outside of the home, which comes to play a big part in this. But she has a lot of dissatisfaction with her life as it is. Her husband, who calls her Mama, even though she has asked him to call her Valeria, which is her name, he refuses. He only calls her Mama. And she's like, I kind of feel like I've lost who I am. As I said, it's set in 1950-51 Rome, which is a different time and a different place. And I do know that women reviewed differently, and you kind of have to look at this as a historical document, but he very much treats her as an object. He's not cruel to her in any way, but he's very, he's not concerned with her, shall we say. And then she has her two children. Her son is, who's the older, he's 21, I think, is like the most obnoxious mama's boy. Whoops, dropped my phone. The most obnoxious mama's boy you can, I mean, he's just awful. And she talks about how she totally understands him and he's her favorite. And it's because he's a mama's boy. And then she has a daughter who, Valeria has a lot of problems with her daughter because she feels like her daughter's very rebellious and is not behaving like she should. But it becomes pretty clear that her daughter is pretty much a reflection of who Valeria wishes she herself was. So a lot of this is her dealing with how she views her life, what she wants from her life. When I wrote up my review on Goodreads, I said that it could easily be read as just a woman having a midlife crisis, which is true. I guess it could be. That's not how I read it. I don't have the dissatisfaction in my life that Valeria has, but we're close enough in age and we're close enough in phase of life that I can understand her. And so I just thought this was fascinating, and I really wish I had someone to discuss it with, which is why I'm going to suggest it for my library book club. But if it's just, let me see if I can find out when. I have Goodreads up here right now. Yeah, it was just released, this edition, this English edition was just released at the beginning of this year, although the book was published in January 1st, 1952. If you can get a hold of this one, I highly recommend it. It's a lot of food for thought. I would be really interested to hear what other people thought of this book. So that is Forbidden Notebook by Alba de Cespedes. And when I edit this, I'm going to put her name because I might be mispronouncing it. But yeah, so that is the first book that I finished in the month of April. Hello, today is Wednesday, April 5th, and I just wanted to check in. I finished a book yesterday that kind of wrecked me a little bit. It was When We Were Sisters by Fatima Asghar, I believe. This is for my book club that's on this Saturday. And when I got home from vacation, I knew I needed to get it done because it was on my Kobo, which I didn't take on vacation. I thought it would take me longer than it did because it's like a 300 and something page book. But I breezed through it because a lot of the pages have like 2 sentences on them. So I got through that, but it's absolutely heartbreaking. It's about these 3 young, I think they're ages 5 to 9 at the beginning, sisters whose mother is dead before the book, but then their father dies. So they go live with this uncle who doesn't really want to acknowledge their existence. So it kind of just puts them in an apartment, and it's semi-autobiographical, which makes it even worse. And the youngest sister, who's the narrator of the story, it's told through her eyes, relates everything that goes on, but is also dealing with some gender issues, which I thought was really well done. I really enjoyed it. I am interested to see how this book club discussion is going to go because I talked to 2 of my friends who are in book club, and they're both really struggling with the book. So I'm not even sure if they're going to finish, which part of the reason for one of them is that they're listening to it. And I don't think this is a book really that you can listen to because there's so much like, there's a visual quality to the words on the page. So we'll see how that goes. I might report back after book club if anything truly enlightening happens. I ended up giving it an A, but I reserve the right to change that. It might go up to an A+. We'll see. And then I started the next Ruth Galloway book because I needed something light. I just started today at the hairdresser's. my hair color was setting, and it's going to be delightful. It's just what I want. And then I'm starting 2 other books. So I'm getting back into a short story collection. It's been since January since I read short story collection. So this one I'm reading is Bobcat by Rebecca Lee. My bookish best friend loaned this book to me 9 years ago. Now, before you judge me, 8 years ago, I told her, I said, I have this book you loaned me. I don't know when I'm going to get to it. Do you want it back? And she said, no, keep it and then pass it on. So I do not feel bad about having borrowed a book for 9 years. I do feel bad about having it on my shelf for 9 years without reading it. One of my Storygraph challenges is read the book that's been on your TBR the longest. And I think I'm going to count this one for that because I don't really know when all my books got onto my shelf. So I am going to count that as my oldest book on my TBR. So I started that, read the first story. It was really good. I think it's going to be a good collection. And then I'm just about to start Lord Edward Dies by Agatha Christie. I'm kind of going comfort reads after When We Were Sisters. So there you go. We'll see how it goes. So today is Saturday, April 7th. Hear my husband in the kitchen, if you're wondering what that is. And today I am going to a Mad Hatter tea with my friends. It's at a tea house that we love to go to in Beaverton. It's so cool. Not only is it just a really cool place, but the food is fantastic. The woman who owns it makes the best scones on the face of the planet. I'm going to try and take some pictures and video and maybe stick them in this vlog so you can see. This tea is called Absalom Dream. And if I do this, it's supposed to change color. Ooh, look at that. A little more in. There's lemon juice. Look at that. Magic tea. That is fun. You can see. We usually they do a Dickens tea at Christmas. They do a Harry Potter tea in July. And they do a witching tea, or they just started, or we just went for the first time this past fall, a witching tea in October. And this is our first time doing the Mad Hatter tea. And then they have also Mother's Day tea, but we don't do that because we just don't. But we go there. So we go there several times a year, but it's worth it every single time. Anyway, so that's my big plans for today. And then my book club to discuss When We Were Sisters is tonight on Zoom. So we'll see what people have to say. Hello all, it is Tuesday, April 11th. This is a very quick little vlog entry because I was going to do a vlog entry and then I decided it should be a video. So now I'm just doing a vlog entry to refer you to the video when this vlog comes out. But I finished Lord Edgware Dies by Agatha Christie. I had great mystery, but I had issues about it. So when I edit this, I'm going to put a card up so you can go see that whole video if you haven't watched it already. So today I will be starting, I think, The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz. It's going to be my next print book. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so hello. Today is Wednesday, the 12th of April. I finished today The Woman in Blue, which is the 8th, I checked this time, the 8th book in the Ruth Galloway series. You know, I like this one, but it was really weird because for most of the book, I didn't think it was going to be as good as the other ones. I felt like Ellie Griffiths was just sort of kind of throwing stuff out, seeing what stuck and treading water a lot of the time. But by the time I got to the end of the book, I saw how everything just worked out perfectly. My complaint about this book, oh, I'm sorry, I'm picking this up. This is what happens when I just hold my phone up. Okay, there, that's better. My complaint about this book is it needed more Cathbad. He's at the beginning of the book and he's at the end of the book, but he's not really in the middle of the book. And his character, it seems like his character does some changing, but he's not in most of the book. So I really, that was my big downer with this book, but not a huge downer. I gave it a B+ still. I just really enjoy that series. I'm going to start Camp Zero tonight. I am also reading, at least for the moment, I am reading The Writer's Retreat by Julia Bartz. A lot of people whose opinion I trust, not everybody whose opinion I trust who's read this, but a lot of people whose opinion I trust who have read this have given it 4 and 5 stars. Not all of them, but most of them. And man, I might have to DNF this one. I don't know. Right now I'm kind of reading it because it feels like a really, really bad like B movie. I'm having some real problems with it. But I'm also kind of want to see how bad it gets. Like it's almost like train wreck reading at this point. So we'll see how it goes. I can tell you right now, this is not going to be a 4 or 5 star book for me. We're going to see if I can get it to at least a B, which is 3 stars. It's not looking good. it's just, I don't know. I'm an outlier apparently with this, but not a complete outlier, because I know of at least one other person whose opinion I trust who has not liked this book. So we'll see. But it's really weird. Like, this is a good palette. Like, I kind of picked it up as kind of a palette cleanser book, like something kind of light and fluffy. And I guess it is, but now I kind of feel like I need something like kind of heavy and dark to be a palette cleanser for this one. Yikes. So, yeah, that's what I'm reading right now. The good news is it's going pretty quickly, so I should have it done in the next day or two, but man, oh my. Anyway, I'm going to stop it there. The weather here is just crap, but oh, in other news, I just helped my son forecast for his classes for middle school. I can't believe my baby's growing up. Next week, he's going to be gone. He's going to outdoor school for 4 days and 3 nights, which is going to be exciting. It's also going to be a really new thing. Lily, my daughter, is very jealous about this because she didn't get to go to outdoor school because her outdoor school was during COVID. So they did virtual outdoor school. And she's the kind of person who would like, this is her thing. Like, that is her dream thing, is outdoor school. So she's jealous she didn't get to go, but oh well. Anyway, I'm starting to babble and my cat is getting into something, so I better go. On to the next. I'll see you in the next vlog. So, it's the afternoon of Wednesday, and I said I was going to start Camp Zero tonight, and I actually started this afternoon, and I'm going to DNF it. It's not speaking to me, and I already have one book going that I'm not super fond of, which is The Writing Retreat, so I'm just going to move on off Camp Zero. And I think my next ebook is going to be The House with Good Bones. I think that's next on my library list. I am going to continue with The Writing Retreat, mostly out of curiosity, because I went back and read reviews from people I know, and I'm just like, maybe something happens. Maybe something happens that makes this book better. So I'm just kind of reading it out of curiosity now. We'll see. And I do think this is a book that would be better with cheap booze, like after consuming a lot of cheap booze. But I don't have any cheap booze. Don't want to get drunk right now, so we're just going to suffer through it. We'll see. Okay, it is Friday, April 14th, and right away I'm going to apologize for any noise in the background. My kids are off school today, and so it's just noisy in my house. And every time I think it's going to be quiet so I can do this quick update, it gets noisy, so we're just going to deal with it. I'm using my little setup right now that I did for my like Agatha Christie editing thing, because I know I'm going to be doing this. Just warning you. So because I have actually a few updates to go over. First off, I finished an audiobook. Woo! I finished The Word is Murder by Anthony Horowitz. I really enjoyed it. It was a good mystery to do on audio because the only Anthony Horowitz I have read other than this were The Magpie Murders and Moonflower Murders, they're both good, but they are pretty complex. There's a lot of moving pieces, and you really kind of have to follow. And I would recommend them. I listened to Moonflower Murders, and that was harder, I will say, although Leslie Manville narrates it, and she does a really good job. I would prefer to read those. This one worked better as, I don't know, I wouldn't say it would work better to listen than to read, but it worked better as terms of listening for me than the other ones. The setup is that Anthony Horowitz, who wrote the book, is actually a character in the book, and he's like tagging along with this ex-detective who's still kind of a consultant for the London police, and they're trying to solve a murder. And it's a little bit lighter. I don't want to say it's less complex, because it's still complex, but there's a different element of like humor and levity to it. It's not super funny, but there is just a little bit more of that, which makes it a little easier for me to follow on audio. And it was also great because it was a great workout book. Now, I'm doing something that I don't know if I've ever done, and if I have, I've only done it once or twice, is I'm actually going to start 2 new audiobooks. I'll explain why. The first one I'm going to start is The Levee, which is a novella by William Kent Kruger. If you know me, you know I love William Kent Kruger. And this is like an audio-only novella, so reading it with my eyes is not an option. What I do know is it's a standalone, and it's probably, I'm guessing, going to be more like his standalones, which are Ordinary Grace and Ordinary Grace, and the other one that I loved it's gone out of my head. Totally forgot the title of the book, and I love this book. Anyway, those books, I just know they probably aren't like ones that are going to keep me going through a workout. I'm going to remember when I edit this, I'll put the title in. I can't remember. This Tender Land. That's what it is. This Tender Land. So Ordinary Grace in This Tender Land. I know that kind of story is not going to hold me through a workout. So I will probably just kind of listen to this, and it's only like 3 hours long, and I always speed it up, so it's going to be shorter than 3 hours long. And I might just kind of sit and put that on and just do headphones and listen to it that way. But I did decide to do another book that I think will be a better book to kind of carry me through workouts. And that one is, what I did was I went to my Libro account and I scrolled all the way down to the oldest book I have unread on there, which is Family Trust by Kathy Wang. I believe that's the author. Again, I'm on my phone, so I can't really look it up, but it's Family Trust. This does not have super great reviews. It's a 3.22, both on Goodreads and Storygraph. I can be a little more forgiving of maybe books that aren't quite as good on audio. I will be honest with that, but it was a my TBR recommendation, so I'm going to give it a try. You know, I can always DNF it if it doesn't work, but those are the two that I have going. And then I finished the writing retreat. Now, I actually meant to do a little vlog entry with my reactions to this yesterday, and I'm glad that I didn't, because I needed some time to calm down. This book, which many people who I follow and whose opinions I trust and usually work for me, did not work for me. I should have DNF'd it. Even while I was reading it, I was like, I should probably DNF it. This is not a book for me. But I was really curious as to why these people, whose opinions usually mesh really well with mine, would give this 4 and 5 stars. I'll be honest, I didn't even give this a grade. I gave this 1 star. It was, I can't really think of a redeeming quality with this book. It was just ridiculous, in my opinion. I did go back though, and I read the reviews of the people who gave it high ratings. And some of the things that kind of popped out at me was, one was like, well, you do have to suspend your disbelief at times. And I'm okay with suspension of disbelief, but if I have to do it to make a story work, that's a little bit different than just like, this is a story and I'm going to suspend disbelief and enjoy it. I don't know. It just, to me, felt like the suspending disbelief was just to kind of get through this thing. So that didn't work for me. And the other review, and I believe this one was from Mara at Books Like Whoa. This was in her Goodreads review. She did refer to it as really darkly camp. And I can see that, but I don't necessarily agree with it, because I think if you're going to write a campy book, you need to be intentional about writing a campy book. And I didn't get the feeling that the author wanted this to be campy. It felt like a really bad horror movie that's supposed to be really bad, but it takes itself too seriously. Like, it was almost that. It wasn't very surprising. Most of the time it was very predictable. And when it wasn't predictable, the twists were not good twists. Like, they just didn't work. They didn't make any sense. The twist didn't make any sense. And I was like, no, this was 1 star. Not even going to give this to someone I know. Like, I'm not going to put this in the bag by the door for whoever. I'm going to take this to a little free library. In fact, I'm not even going to take it to a little free library. I'm going to put it in the Goodwill one, like the Goodwill box for this book. Ugh. So what I am starting now is my People April book, which is also my Agatha and April book. So for Agatha and April, which is something that MJ's doing, where it's actually like tomorrow, which is Saturday, you're supposed to read Agatha Christie, starting this today. I'm going a different route because I read Agatha Christie all the time. And I am not reading an Agatha Christie mystery. I'm reading an Agatha Christie memoir, which is how it also works for People April. So this is by officially Agatha Christie Mallowan, which was actually her name. So most everyone kind of knows the story about what happened when her first marriage broke up to Archie Christie. If not, the short story is he had an affair. And the affair and the breakup of the marriage coincided with the death of Agatha Christie's mother. And so she was under a lot of emotional turmoil. And she disappeared. Agatha Christie disappeared for 9 days. No one knew where she was. There was like a nationwide search for her. Arthur Conan Doyle got involved and like got a psychic to look at it. No one knew where she went. And it really did look like, by what they found, it really looked like she had committed suicide. But she hadn't. They found her in a spa under a different name. Now, there's two camps of people about what happened. The first one is, this is a way to get back at her husband. The other camp is that she really had a breakdown and she was in a fugue state and she really didn't know what was going on. From everything that I've read about Agatha Christie and memoirs and stuff, I'm going to fall in the second camp. I really think she had a breakdown and disappeared. Anyway, so after she got divorced, she went to the Middle East, I believe Baghdad, to visit some friends who are archaeologists. And while she was there, she met this really hot young stud. And when I say hot young stud, if I remember correctly, he was 21 and she was like 37, 38. So there was, I'm not quite sure. I'm pretty sure he was 21. She was mid to late 30s. So there was quite an age difference at that time, but they fell in love and they got married and she spent the rest of her life with him. They had a very happy marriage for the rest of their life. There were some rumors that he might have, at the very end, when she was very, very, very much in decline, there may have been something with a lab assistant of his. Could be, I don't care. It's not important. She was very happy with him for her life. And they had a very supportive marriage. They supported each other in their careers. She did a lot of work in archaeology. She apparently was, on a lot of these digs, she was the person who would clean the artifacts that they found. And she came up with her own like little formula. I want to say like it involved denture cream or something. I don't know. It was some weird thing to clean these artifacts. And somewhere in some museum, there is an artifact that is considered like the best restored. And she did it. And she's given credit, I think, as Agatha Mallowin for doing that. So that's kind of cool. Anyway, this is a memoir she wrote about the first archaeological dig she did with her husband, Max Mallowin. I didn't even know this book existed really until I was on bookshop.org looking up for something else. I was looking up, there's a new short story collection. I've read the other one, like A Deadly Affair and then the Midwinter Mysteries. Those ones that are kind of seasonally, they're like new collections that came out. There's a new one coming out about summer. And so I was looking for that one and I came across this book and I was like, I must have it. So I got it. And then I realized that I could do this for People April. And I can do this for Agatha in April. So there, my little bookmark, which it's starting to fall apart because the cat thought it was a cat toy. So this is what I'm doing for that. And I'm going to start it today, even though Agatha in April is tomorrow, but I'm going to do it today. So other than that, I am still reading my other books. I am actually really enjoying A House with Good Bones. So far that one looks like it's going to be a winner, which is good because I think after reading The Writing Retreat, I need a couple winners because that was not a book for me. Now, I'm an outlier on that, not a complete outlier. I know Jennifer loves books, didn't like it either. So I'm an outlier on it, but it was not a book for me. Anyway, I'd better go because I'm sure noise is going to happen at some point. And it's actually not a rainy day, so I think I'm going to take a little walk before I have lunch. And then I'm going to do I think I'm going to do my reading update for the week, which will be a lot of repeat of what I just said, but you won't see this until May. So there you go. I think I will do that. And then I have another video that I want to do that it's going to be the same setup as this, just because it covers some issues I don't feel super comfortable doing with my daughter filming. So I think I might do another video with this setup that you will have seen by the time this video comes out, but I'm going to be doing it for the following week. Anyway, that's all for now. We'll see what other reading happens. Okay, so that was the vlog. So I just wanted to go over quickly what I am reading now because, it was vlog format. It's easier to just kind of tell you. In print, I am reading by Agatha Christie Mallowin, Come Tell Me How You Live. This is her memoir of, I think, her first archaeological trip with her second husband, Max Mallowin. My husband is making noise in the other room. Sorry about that. I still have my short story collection of Bobcat and Other Stories by Rebecca Lee going. I'm really enjoying this. I will probably have this finished this week. I think I only have 3 stories left. And then an ebook, I am currently reading A House with Good Bones by T. Kingfisher, which I am really enjoying. And I am still working my way through Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. As again, I'm probably going to have this finished probably in like June. We'll see. As I said, my original plan was to have it finished in November. So anytime between June and November is good by my count. And then on ebook, as I also said in an earlier video that I did just today, so wearing the same thing. I think I'm wearing the same thing in that. I can't remember. Anyway, I've actually got 2 ebooks going right now. The first is The Levee by William Kent Kruger, which is a novella, an audio-only novella. And because I did not feel that this would be a good, like, listen to while you work out kind of ebook, or not ebook, audiobook, I also am starting Family Trust by Kathy Wang. I will tell you, I listened to The Levee. I took a little walk today because it's not pouring down rain, which is different. And I think my original call that it's not a good workout audiobook is right. So, because I did listen to it and I was like, okay, this is one I have to actually put brain power towards. So, yeah, so those are my 2 audiobooks that are going on. I'm actually hoping to have The Levee done by next week, but we'll see. Family Trust is going to take longer. Anyway, that is what I'm reading right now. I hope that, I know this video is a little bit of a mess because I changed my mind of what I was doing halfway through, but hopefully weekly vlogs going forward will work a lot better. So anyway, thank you if you were able to stick through this with me. Give me a thumbs up, give me a subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.